All right, we continue to follow this breaking news. The new pope has been announced. We have learned it is American Robert Prevost. He is the first American pope in history. Let's bring in NewsNation's Robert Sherman. He's live on the ground for us there in Rome. Robert, so we wait to hear from the new pope. It was first announced. Obviously, when that happens, we'll cut off and we'll listen in live there. But just talk about the significance of this, the first American pope in history.
Wow. Wow. It was, we have heard throughout the last couple of weeks that something like this was highly unlikely. But keep in mind that there are 10 cardinals from the United States, significant voting bloc, significant influence as a part of this whole process. You see someone waving the American flag there as a result. This was something, not necessarily one of the major front runners whose names that we had heard going into this, but a name that we had heard as possibly on the periphery and someone who could potentially be a so-called dark horse candidate to assume the papacy. I just have to tell you, Nichole, is that standing here on the ground, you just heard this loud roar coming from Vatican City and St. Peter's Square. Imagine that you're 5 to 10 blocks away from Soldier Field and you hear the crowd roaring after a momentous play in the football game. That's what it sounded like, sustained for several minutes here, just articulating the energy that is on the ground. And I am not exaggerating when I'm telling you that I'm watching people running towards the tunnel, which leads under one of the main thoroughfares here towards Vatican City, in order to possibly join that sea of people who you see right there and catch a glimpse of this historic moment. And we talk about chapters of the history book being written. Here we are in Rome, city eternal, a place in which history has been written again and again. And of course, with the Christian faith, ever since Constantine met Maxentius on the bridge, and the place in which the Vatican and the Holy See has called home for centuries upon end. Now to see this momentous chapter of the history books being written here, one that many did not anticipate, is an unbelievable scene to behold, to witness, and quite frankly, to feel, Nichole. It's just the energy throughout this whole city, just reverberating throughout the streets, throughout the railings, throughout the skyline. It is so hard for me to put into words what we're seeing and what we're experiencing right now. Nichole?
Absolutely. This is truly history being made, history in the fact that we are seeing a new pope elected, and history in the fact that we are seeing the first American-born pope, the first ever. So a little backstory on the now former cardinal and now current pope, Robert Prevost. He was born in Chicago back in 1955. He has served in St. Louis. He served in Chicago. He has served in Latin America. He certainly has a plethora of experience and accolades here. Again, Chicago born, 1955, first American pope in history. I want to listen in again just a bit to what is happening there as we await hearing from the brand new pope.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.